Lunch, you buckaroos. How the heck are you? You know who I am. Anyways, trying to get back into the groove, back from vacation. I'm having a hard time, to be honest with you. Oh, getting back into the groove. I was really tired. I was invited to go out with some friends this afternoon, but I just didn't feel like getting out. I had to run out this morning quickly to the store and put some lasagna on. I kind of, since I've been home, I've really been wanting to cook a lot, and especially now that we're getting into some fall weather, I want to cook some fall foods. I've been cooking that summer stuff for a while. Now I want to, want some comfort. Anyway, so we'll start with the lasagna today. Probably might do some soup tomorrow or some chili. I got some options. I've been really wanting to do some chili, though my wife's really been wanting some vegetable beef soup. So not sure which one's going to win out. I went and loaded up on beans because we don't usually let ourselves run out of dried beans, but we did. So I bought four kinds of dried beans today. Wanted to make sure I had some beans, man, because I like mixed beans in my chili. I like different textures. So anyway, let me get this fixed real quick and let me get to my cocktail before it warms up on me. There we go. Now we're in business. Got a nice fall background, as you see there. Got a little fall background going on anyway. So here's what I came up with this cocktail while we were gone. I picked up this Watershed distillery. This is a barrel strength fall finishing series. It's a 5-year-old straight bourbon finished in port cask at 118. So, but I also bought their Nocino, which is a black walnut liqueur I have right here. So there I did the cocktail with just that and the cherry garnish because that's what I had. When I came home the other day, I added the black walnut bitters, which I had, but I still didn't figure out what I wanted to do for garnish. I'm playing around with a couple ideas. So here's what I did with this one. I used that whiskey, that Nocino, and the black walnut bitters. But who knows? But I also added ginger bitters, which I found while we were out. And what I did is I took some candied ginger for the garnish here. I took some candied ginger and I took my cocktail torch to it. So I kind of scorched some ginger there, if you can see that. I don't know how well it translates to the camera, but I can see it on my end. So I use that candied ginger as the garnish. Still not sure what I want to call this drink because it's their fall finishing series with that dark Nocino. I'm thinking of calling it Nightfall. And I like the addition of the ginger, actually. That candied ginger really adds to the aromatics as well as the ginger bitters. But I didn't want to take out the black walnut bitters because I still wanted that aromatics in there since, to play off of the Nocino. And I'd never had Nocino before, to be honest with you. Wasn't familiar with it. I bought the bottle mostly out of curiosity, and I really, really like it. I really do. I should try some just on its own, but I really like the way it plays with this whiskey. It's sort of a Manhattan inspired cocktail with just the four ingredients, I guess. The whiskey, the Nocino, and then the two bitters. 5 if you count the garnish, but I don't think you count the garnishing ingredients. So the Chino is a little bit sweet, and so is this particular bourbon. So I like the addition of the candied ginger garnish, and by torching it, I really brought those oils out of it. Kind of burnt that sugar on top. It was the idea, and I may try to torch it a little more next time, but I wasn't really sure. But it really brings the aromatics out, and then of course, then I've added the ginger bitters as well. I was surprised though. Of course, I didn't go to a lot of liquor stores in all honesty, but I wasn't able. The ginger was the only bitters different than what I already have on hand, which might say I've got a lot of bitters on hand. This was the only one I found that I did not have. Well, that's not completely true. I guess there was some place had a jalapeno bitter that I didn't pick up. I wasn't really visualizing a cocktail with that at this moment in time. So I was really thinking more fall. That's one reason I bought the ginger is I could really see using that a lot for a fall cocktail. I really like this one though. I really like this whiskey with that Nocino. And I'm mad at myself because I meant to buy their apple brandy as well, and then I forgot. I didn't see it, I think, at the time. Yeah, well, I was buying a lot of stuff, so I probably thought I probably better quit spending money. But because I wanted to have the apple brandy to, further expound on fall cocktails. But nevertheless, what about the Nocino though? Because I kind of battled with myself at the time because like I said, I wasn't familiar with it. It's not something I've used before. It's not something I grew up with. But I really enjoyed. I like black walnut, so I thought I might, but I just honestly wasn't sure. Mm, damn little bugs! They like my whiskeys and my beers. Black walnut is rather aromatic. I think they sense it. I notice they really get attracted to those gnats when they come out. They get attracted to the IPAs, especially the double IPAs. Those big hops they seem to be attracted to. I noticed it outside. I'm allergic to bees, and I popped a big double IPA a while back, and all of a sudden I had some bees swarming around my glasses. Holy shit! Well, I said there was two. It wasn't a swarm, but nevertheless, was enough to make me. I just stood still or sat still until they kind of went away a little bit. I grabbed my glass and went inside. I hope they didn't follow me. I think they thought it was a flower, man. It smelled good, I guess. I don't know. Oh man, I like playing around with cocktails, and now with the job I have, sometimes it's just, it's research. I really enjoyed going to the different places on vacation and talking to the bartenders and getting their take. Because I'm an old guy, so almost everybody I ran up against was quite a bit younger than I am. So I loved getting their takes on the cocktails, and a lot of them would ask me what I was doing, and I would tell them, "Oh, wow, that's interesting." I was talking with the guy over at Four Fingers Distillery in Indianapolis, and we got talking about some cocktails that I mentioned the cigar batch old fashioned I do for work with the tobacco bitters, and they use tobacco bitters for one of their cocktails, and not the same brand, but it was interesting, because he said he was the only one around there that uses the tobacco bitters. I said, yeah, I think I'm the only one in my neck of the woods too. But I came up with this cocktail mostly for Father's Day, but I had to keep it around. It stayed popular, and it's a rather simple cocktail. I mean, it's just the whiskey that we use. We use a good quality whiskey, the Union Horse Reserve Bourbon. Although for the fall, we were using the rye, and I switched over to the bourbon, but I'm thinking about switching it back to the rye. Since we have a couple other bourbons available, I might go back to the rye on that. Anyways, yeah, I like the way that the tobacco bitters played off that particular whiskey, and then I use a kind of an orange zest simple. And when I fixed one for my boss, he named it the cigar batch because it kind of gives you that illusion, right? Next time I'm going to see if I can torch that sugar just a little more. I was afraid to do too much because when I was there looking at it, I could really see a lot of those brown marks, but I don't know how well it translates there to you. And I didn't want to, burn the hell out of it. Yeah, I just wanted to squirt some of that sugar and bring some of those oils out. It really did add some aromatics as well as the ginger bitters. But like I said, I didn't want to eliminate the black walnut bitters because I like the way it plays off the Nocino. And this is the first time I've done it this way with both bitters, so I was kind of curious how they would work together. In my opinion, they do work. I like the addition of the ginger because it still feels like fall. Got one more cocktail to share with you. This one's a little playful. I'll be right back. I'm going to hop off camera for a hot second. Oh, see, now you know I'm not in this room since I had to move that to get out. Oh, no, you're not really in there. No, man. I just like that, kind of like you have nice fall background and the fireplace in the background. Anyways, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So I guess I need to get me some fancy deals to put the garnish. I'm kind of an old school guy, so but you can't see the garnish. I like the garnish in the drink because the garnish, in my opinion, isn't doing you any good sitting above the glass. But that's how it looks pretty, I guess. So it's hard to see, but there is a nice cocktail cherry laying at the bottom of the glass. So this is a whiskey I found in Cincinnati at Jungle Gyms. This is the St. Elmo Steakhouse cherry vanilla infused bourbon at 88 proof. St. Elmo Steakhouse cherry vanilla infused bourbon, straight bourbon whiskey with dark cherry vanilla liqueur colored with fruit and vegetable juice. How about that? Produced and bottled St. Elmo Steakhouse in Indianapolis. I don't remember seeing it in Indianapolis. I remember seeing the St. Elmo Steakhouse, even though we weren't able to get there. That's one reason I bought the whiskeys. I remember seeing the place, but I did pick up this bottle in Cincinnati at the Jungle Gym. Just want to make that clear. Bartender crafted. So I decided to to get a little playful with this one. I decided to do a Manhattan with it. So I've got the whiskey, 2 ounces of the whiskey, 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, a dark cherry garnish, and cherry bitters. I wanted to accentuate the cherry from the cherry vanilla. So I didn't want to use, traditional bitters. I wanted that cherry to really focus on that cherry note. I may try to put together a cherry vanilla syrup to do sort of an old fashioned with it, but I don't know that it needs to be any sweeter. Wow, that's delicious. Usually, when I have a product like this, I taste the whiskey first and then add it to the cocktail. The truth is, I didn't. I usually have it neat. I do a neat and rocks video, and then I say, okay, let's try it in this cocktail. But in this particular instance, I wanted to go straight to the cocktail, and that is really delicious. This is a perfect dessert cocktail. It's a perfect digestif. That after dinner, it is. It's good, man. Yeah, I've got to taste this whiskey on its own to see if it would be too sweet to add a simple to it to do an old fashioned. Because with the sweet vermouth as a Manhattan inspired cocktail, it really is perfect. Because you feel that cherry, it's just sweet enough. That vanilla. My wife picked up some good bourbon vanilla while we were gone too, so I'm really curious about if adding just a little bit of that vanilla and some cherry in a simple. So here's what I'm wondering. Do I need a cherry vanilla simple to do an old fashioned, or should I just do a vanilla simple because of got the cherry and the bourbon, and if I'm adding the cherry bitters, so I'm not sure. I don't know if there'd be too much cherry, even though I'm tasting some vanilla, but because probably because I added the sweet vermouth and cherry, I'm tasting more cherry. So I'm thinking about just doing a vanilla simple and then adding the cherry bitters and the dark cherry, maybe just a little cherry juice in there. I like to think out loud. I like to think out loud, man. That's why I like to do these on camera, because otherwise I'm just sitting in my chair talking to myself. And my wife's over there making fun of me, but if I got the camera on, I'm really not talking to myself. Even if nobody is out there listening, there is that illusion that somebody might be. Anyway, I digress, man. This is really good, though. I gotta tell you. I think I need to do just a vanilla simple, because I was going to do a cherry vanilla, but I think that'd be too much. I just want to do a vanilla, use that good vanilla to do a vanilla simple, but add the cherry bitters to do the old fashioned. I will tell you, especially going into the fall, I know there are those purists. Even though if you look up the earliest known recipes of an old fashioned, they were usually served straight up, but in these days they have to be served with a great big ice cube. But usually going into fall, whether I'm making a Manhattan or an old fashioned, I like a straight up cocktail. I like it chill, but I don't want that ice in the glass. That's just me. And in the going into spring and summer, I tend to go ahead and go with the big cube. But you're going to see that big cube very seldom from here till next spring, because even if I'm making an old fashioned, I do prefer it served straight up. And I'm probably one of the few to say that, to be honest with you. It's probably just because I'm an old guy, because I don't think you're ever going to hear anybody under 40 say that. But nevertheless, yeah, I am curious though. I do need to make myself. I'm going to do that today. As a matter of fact, this evening I am going to make a vanilla simple and then try an old fashioned with this, because now that I've had this as a Manhattan, but I will need to try this whiskey on its own. I need to try a little bit neat just to see how prominent the cherry and vanilla flavors are. I'm getting a lot of cherry, but it could be because I've added that sweet vermouth that might be accentuating that cherry. And I'm using the cherry bitters. I want to keep the cherry bitters though, because I want to focus on the cherry flavor. But if I do just a vanilla simple, I might bring out that vanilla note just a little more. The Nocino cocktail, though, with the Watershed. Let me show you this whiskey. Watershed, damn. I mean, I got to tell you, wow, these guys are good. When I was there at the distillery, I had their barreled old fashioned. That was wow. Yeah, that was pretty freaking impressive. All the whiskey I had there was great. Budget is what it is. So in a perfect world, I would have probably bought one of everything there, but I didn't want to go broke on that particular day. But it does give me something to focus on. I don't know that I'll get back to Columbus. In all honesty, it's just tough for us to get back to places we visited. But I was impressed with a lot of places in Columbus, Watershed being one of them. Echo Distilling, I was as well. I've got a bottle of the honey barrel. I'm just gonna have to sit on for a minute. I want to open it so bad. I really want to open that one bad, but I bottled it myself. So when I need to save for a special occasion. I like to save it when I can open it with some friends. The right friends, let me say that. And what I mean by that is friends that will not just drink it to get drunk, friends that really appreciate, you know, a good product. I don't want friends. I just want to do shots of anything. If you're, let's do some Fireball next. No, I want to want to share with those friends. Oh my gosh, you built this yourself. It's a small distillery, and I'm one of those guys that really tries hard to practice what they preach and stay small. While we were gone, I didn't buy any. I bought a lot of bottles. I bought 17 total, but in my defense, only 14 of them were 750s. Um, Two of them were 375s, and one of them was a bottle of Nocino. And two of them were bottles of vodka. One was for my wife, and one of those 17, those 14, one of the two bottles of vodka, one was more for my wife, and one bottle of strawberry gin again from Watershed. And I don't typically buy gin, but man, their stuff is so good. That strawberry gin they have and their four peel gin is crazy good. Their four peel gin on its own is good, but I really love the strawberry version. It does feel more like spring in all honesty. However, I just had to have it. It was just that good. And there now you can see my cherry languishing at the bottom of the glass. So that's the thing. I guess I need to get those things. I know I do because it is a visual to see the cherry. I understand why they do that at fancy places. Oh, look, there's a nice cherry on a little fancy stick. I get it. But I'm at home and the cherry does me no good on top of the glass. The garnish, even as you notice, my ginger, even though I had it sitting in the glass, it was also where it could get into the drink and flavor the cocktail as well. So, anyway, I digress. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, forever's demand. All around good guy, all around good guy. My goodness, that was delicious. So I mean, I'm gonna have to do another video with just focusing on the Saint Elmo. I need to have some neat. I need to have some on the rocks, but I really want to do an old fashioned with it too. So I need to make a. I think I'm just gonna do. I was debating on doing a cherry vanilla, but I think I'm just gonna do a vanilla simple, and then add the cherry bitters and let that balance. Anyway, one more time with feeling all around good guy. Cilantro.